Intland Retina is built on the proven CodeBeamer engine. Using the CodeBeamer engine enables you to take advantage of integrations originally developed for CodeBeamer, such as Intland Software's open source xUnit uploader Jenkins plugin. In this video, I'm going to show you how can you set up the CodeBeamer xUnit uploader Jenkins plugin to publish automated test results into Intland Retina. With Intland Software's open source xUnit uploader plugin, you can seamlessly connect your Jenkins instance and publish test results of your test automation activities stored in an xUnit format from Jenkins into Intland Retina. I already have my test results ready and stored in an xUnit format. In a production environment, this xUnit XML file is an output of your test automation system. In this example, we can see the test cases summary, their class, and their running time, and the summary of the test results. You are going to be able to publish these into Intland Retina, and in the process, the plugin will create test cases and test runs for you. So once you establish traceability to requirements or user stories, you will be able to report on test coverage combining manual and automated tests within Intland Retina. Let's see how the configuration works. As you can see, I'm already in Jenkins. I already have a project, but now it's time to install the CodeBeamer xUnit uploader plugin first. Then I can add this plugin as a post-build action to my project. And once I configure the plugin, I'm going to be able to publish my test results into Intland Retina. To install the plugin, I have to navigate to Manage Jenkins. Within Manage Jenkins, I have to go to Manage Plugins, and under the Available tab, I will have to search for the CodeBeamer xUnit uploader plugin. As you can see in the description, this plugin integrates CodeBeamer to Jenkins. But as I've mentioned earlier, Intland Retina is built on the proven CodeBeamer engine, so we are going to be able to use this plugin to publish our test results into Intland Retina. The next step is to install the plugin. As you can see, the installation was successful, so now I can go back to my project and add the plugin as a post-build action. In my Jenkins project, I have to navigate to Configure, and in the post-build action section, I just have to select the CodeBeamer xUnit uploader. As you can see, I have to specify the CodeBeamer URL. In this example, I'm using our trial instance. And what is really important, that we have to connect to the CodeBeamer engine, so I will have to add CB at the end of the URL. The next step is to define the credentials. You have to use a user that has access to the REST API and to the workspace itself. Before I'm done with the configuration, I have to add a few IDs here. As you can see, test configuration ID, the test case tracker ID. This is the container where we are going to store the test cases created by the plugin based on the xUnit XML. We can define the top node test cases ID. In this example, I'm going to use a folder for this purpose. We have to define the test run tracker ID. This is where we are going to store the test reports. We can define the release ID. So on the test run, we will specify the release we are executing this automated test in, and we will have to specify where does the plugin find the test results. In this example, I have uploaded the previously shown xUnit XML into my Jenkins workspace, so I will have to refer to that directory. Let's start with the test configuration ID. To obtain the test configuration ID, I have to navigate to my test configurations container. As you can see, I have an automated test configuration. The most simple way to obtain the ID is to open up the item in a detail view, and either from the detail view I can copy the ID, or you can also copy the ID from the URL. The test case tracker ID is something that I can obtain by opening the test case container, and you can find the tracker ID in the URL. To get the parent test cases ID, I just have to open the automated tests folder In a detailed view, I will have the ability to copy the ID again from the detailed view's header or from the URL. The test run container's ID again can be copied from the URL once I have opened up the container itself. The release's ID can be obtained by opening the release container, and on the release dashboard, by navigating to the properties of the item, you can open up the release in a detailed view, and again I can copy the ID from the detailed view's header or from the URL. As you can see, I have configured my IDs, and Jenkins validated the IDs already. And the last step for me is to specify the test results directory. This is located in the Jenkins workspace's root, so I just have to specify the folder name, and I can save the configuration. The last step is to actually execute the build. As you can see, the build is now completed, and if I go back to Retina, I can take a look into the test cases and the test results. As you can see in the test cases container, by expanding the automated tests folder, I can find my test cases, and by opening up the test run container and changing the view to all, I can actually see the test run itself, and I can take a look into the test results. We have now our test cases and test results published into Intland Retina, but these are not yet connected to requirements or user stories. As you can see in the workspace configuration diagram, my test cases can have traceability relationship to user stories, software requirements, or system requirements. I'm going to link a few test cases to software requirements with the help of the library function. In my software requirement specification container, I have to open the library. As you can see, I already have the Jenkins integration workspace configured as a library item, but you can also always add further items, workspaces through the library configuration. By expanding the node and grabbing one of these automated test cases, I can link to the requirement either by releasing the test case in the summary and description section, as you can see by linking it and creating a reference to the selected item, or I can pulling it to the left-hand side and I can release this item on the requirement itself, and I can decide if I want to make a copy, if I want to make a copy and I want to link the target item with the copies, or I just want to link the target item with the original item. So I'm just gonna do that. And once I have linked my test cases to requirements, I can take a look into the test coverage information, either from the Tools menu's requirement coverage option, or from the Tracker's More Functions menu's coverage option. Here in the statistics, you can see how many items are already covered with the test case, and by expanding the hierarchy, you can take a look into the test coverage of your actual requirements.